Dante here. As you can see, I am flying without co-host. Well, of course, my man Pinhead, as usual, but otherwise without co-host. It's one of those circumstances beyond our control. Don't worry about it. We'll be back to regular next week. So we're going to start this week's news off with actually something we don't usually cover, which is rumor. So this is totally a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. However, it does come from a moderately reliable source. So the word on the street is that there was in the awful movie Alien Covenant, of which there is a link below to our review. They had not only in the script, but had actually done some work on a scene where the neomorph, the sort of early version of the alien, versus the xenomorph, the final version that we all know and love, actually fought. I did battle, and the xenomorph came out on top. This was going to be done to sort of establish the progression of the evolution, and then the ultimate expression with the xenomorph as the culmination of the work. And they claim, again, purely rumor, that there was even work done with, some guys in practical effects suits trying to simulate that fight. It didn't work. It was too clumsy. They were tearing their suits. This is all the word on the street. And I say it's rumor because, let's be honest, this wasn't an independent production. This is a $100 million plus movie. They could have done, as much as I would have hated it, that entire fight sequence in CGI. So, did it exist? Did it not? Were they going to do it? Were they not? Don't know. It's a rumor, but it's a juicy one, and I would have killed to have been able to see that scene in what can only be described as a complete non-surprise. Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights this year has just added another house, and it is based off American Horror Story Roanoke. They try to appeal to the masses, and almost every year they've got an American Horror Story house. These tend to be the least frightening, since the show's not all that great. Hey, we got the Shining announcement a couple weeks ago, so I guess we had this coming. Any doubts that there is a Conjuring universe have been laid to rest. By the way, my previous idea of the Conjureverse has moved forward. Paperwork has been filed. This is going to be a sweet lawsuit if they're dumb enough to go with this. Regardless, we've obviously got the Annabelle and the Nun coming up next year. They just announced that the Crooked Man is getting his spinoff. We're, batting zero on the spin-offs so far. Annabelle 2 looks atrocious. We did a reaction to the trailer. It's in the description below, so you can agree with us. And, the Nun, I don't know. Crooked Man, we're really starting to stretch this thin. My concern here is, just like the first Annabelle, the masses, Jane and Joe Average, are going to go see this garbage. And, I've said it a million times before. It costs a very small amount of money for them to make these films in Hollywood terms. $4, $5, $8, $10 million. Enough, people go and they pull their 100 million. Boom. We'll keep making garbage. So it's the old adage, man. We keep watching garbage. They're gonna keep making garbage. So here's my plea, folks. Just stay away from the theaters on these. Indirectly, speaking of The Conjuring, as we just were, the first one concerned the Perron family, and in real life, one of the little girls, Andrea Perron, she went on to write 3 books regarding her experience in the house, and, they were published. Well, it has just been announced by her, in fact, that screenwriting has been done by her, and there are screenplays for all 3 of them, and a studio has agreed to make them. This is going to be very interesting from the standpoint that The Conjuring obviously took some liberties, and by some liberties, one of my favorite stories of hers is the fact that in real life, Ed and Lorraine Warren went to the house. They held a seance, which young Andrea described as went so horribly wrong that her mother almost lost her life, and her father kicked Ed and Lorraine Warren out of their house, never to return. A little different than the movie. So it apparently is Oats Studio everywhere all the time. Over the course of the last couple weeks, we've gotten 2 entirely different trailers. I've got links to both of them in the description below. One was this sort of sci-fi, kind of District 9 throwback. The other ratcheted up the horror very high. We kind of, you know, mentioned it, but basically the concept is that Neill Blomkamp is gathering together a bunch of different talent, including himself, to make sort of experimental short films in the hopes that they get expanded into full-length feature films. And there's some money behind this. Don't know if it's his. There's plans to release these shorts for purchase on Steam. Okay, so obviously they're going to be making some money back that way. Probably their ultimate goal, however, is that if any of these actually do get picked up and turned into feature-length films, they'll get their back, you know, office deals and all that other stuff. Regardless, Neill himself also, thank you very much, by the way, has released the first of these, a 20-minute short film called Rakka, R-A-K-K-A, that he directed and actually stars Sigourney Weaver. And instead of doing this one for pay, he did this one for free. Hey, any good drug dealer will tell you, you always give the first one free, right? Okay, smart move, Neill. Anyways, that's out, and actually check again in the comment section below. We've got a link to our review of that. All right, these little exit segments are gonna be a little weird without anybody here to bounce off of. Regardless, you guys know the drill. Please let us know in the comment section below what you thought of this. Plus, give this video a like. And as always, please, please, please subscribe to the channel.